Oh shit! You do have a storm coming.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's been lightning
That's
really
gonna
bad
make
for like
it.
the
That's gonna
last
make it more
hour.
intense. Yeah, that's crazy.
And I'm like, oh great, it's always gotta be the lightning and thunderstorm down here.
Oh yeah. So we are okay. We are live.
Oh, hello, good evening. Happy almost end of summer, back to school for some folks. We're been a little bit of a break. It's been crazy summer madness going on. Usual adult shenanigans.
We
But
got
as always, I'm your host for the evening, your Green Lantern from Always Gary. And always I'm joined by my favorite co-host. We're gonna just go in order here.
I'm Josh from Metropolis. Yeah, it's been a little bit. We got Mick Squeaker.
I'm sorry about that.
she's, she's loving that carrot or whatever that is.
And I'm Tony from I think I'm from Gotham City today.
Well, you said what was the last thing? You fucking the Avatar
Pandora.
planet.
I didn't say that.
I thought you did. You said something like that.
I would not say that.
I thought you said something like that. Well, we got a shit ton of news. Well, not a shit ton, but some big news.
We get
I know I've got a couple big things in news.
Yeah, you go ahead, Jerry. This is yours. This is your podcast.
But as always, we for the meat and potatoes today, we have Batman the Brave and the Bold, Rise of the Blue Beetle, and the Blue Beetle, the 2023 feature-length film. But before that, we're gonna get started with BS, pop culture, big movie, comic, video game, whatever kind of news. So I went and saw Deadpool recently, the new Deadpool Wolverine. It was the biggest fuck you that Fox could ever receive from two.
That's pretty nuts.
I'm not gonna get super into it if you haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it yet.
If you even heard slight rumors, they're true. As far as the cameos, as far as even how the script went, this has to be. I'm sure Kathleen Kennedy and Kevin Feige were sitting with their heads in their palms, knowing that Deadpool and Wolverine was going to just do everything that it did. But it was a great film. If I had to go ahead and give it a review now, I'm going to skip the synopsis just because, it's still very new. I personally would give this like 8.5, 9 out of 10. It was a very different break from the normal Marvel shenanigans. And a lot of the shots, even not directed at Fox, but at Disney itself, that Ryan Reynolds took, I'm like, yes, finally somebody has said it in canonized film.
In their own movie. Yeah, it was nuts. It was pretty great. I saw it this weekend too. I'd give it a 10 out of 10. I really liked it.
Wow.
I liked Deadpool. Yeah, I saw it. I thought it was great. I liked Deadpool 1. Deadpool 2, when I saw Deadpool 2, I was like, it's funny, but I think I'm sick of the Deadpool humor. And then I saw Deadpool 3, I was like, I'm not. I think it's just like this is a much better movie, and it's really, really good. And I think it's, without spoiling too much, I thought it was kind of funny because I took my girlfriend to see it, and she's not up to date on Marvel movies or any of the behind the scenes stuff, and I was like, how is she going to enjoy this movie? Because the plot was complicated and multiple different ways, but she enjoyed it, so I was kind of surprised.
Did you need to see the second one to see the third one?
No, actually,
no.
You should, but it's not like
I've seen the first two Deadpools. So
you just kind of need to know what's going on in Marvel a little bit.
I gotcha.
You just need to have a generalized, knowledge of kind of what's going on with the TV shows and a couple of the other movies.
All right, I'm not worried I'm gonna get lost or anything. I did see the second one, and I actually enjoyed it a little bit more than the first one when I remember it, from what I remember. But that was like when I was in theaters. So, but to go on to Deadpool, continue on with Deadpool. I was thinking I'm probably gonna see the movie tomorrow. So I was gonna suggest to you guys if we could do like maybe the next podcast will just be that movie. Like that.
Yeah, I've got a lot I want to say. Actually, I'm glad that you suggested.
And then we'll do my pick. I'll still reveal my pick at the end of the episode, but we'll do Deadpool and Wolverine. I think that would be worthwhile. So maybe next week. I think that'll work. We'll figure it out.
We'll make something happen. What else? I also saw the new trailer for Alien Romulus, and I'm very excited for that. You guys know I'm a big Alien fan, so the fact we're finally getting the next piece in the movie, 7 years later, I feel is a little too late, but better late than never, as they say.
It was that long?
Yeah, it's been 7 years.
Okay.
That's crazy. It doesn't seem like that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're getting a lot closer to the Ellen Ripley Scott time of Alien-1, just kind of based on what the trailers revealed so far.
That'd be cool.
And still not really sure how this is going to tie into, the next one, which I'm hoping is like the final prequel movie, because if there's another one, I'm like, okay, now you're just kind of pushing it. What else?
I got one. The big one.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Please take it away.
Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom.
Yeah. I did want to bring that up.
And I don't know how you guys feel, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. Disney knows that they have shot themselves in the foot. And I'm going to quote Thanos literally from Endgame. All of your mistakes and failures, and where has it led you? Back to me. Yeah. He was the face of Marvel from 2008 to 2019. So for 11 years, he was basically the face of all of Marvel, because when you thought of Marvel, you think Iron Man or Avengers, Cap, Thor, whoever. But obviously, Robert Downey Jr. was the first with Iron Man in 2008. And I'm like, the fact that they're bringing him back as Dr. Doom, I think is a really big slap to the face, because, his death as Tony Stark at the end of Endgame, it's not a spoiler at this point. If you haven't watched it by now, you're just being lazy.
Yeah.
I think it really takes away from the impact of it, for me especially, because, I loved all the Iron Man films, and I'm a big Robert Downey fan anyway, but I'm not discouraged or dislike the fact that he's coming back as a villain, because I think that would be very interesting to see, especially with him playing, Dr. Doom, who is a very iconic Marvel villain at that. But, based on some interviews where he's kind of talked about superhero movies since he's left Disney, and now that he's kind of coming back as Dr. Doom, I'm like, well, what kind of deal did they work out with you here?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to start with this. From what I know from just the Fantastic Four movie, it's set in the 1960s, and that's all I really know. So maybe it's set in an alternate universe. That's kind of what I'm guessing at. But at the same time, I do agree with you, Jerry. I think it is kind of like a slap in the face. I think if they're going to bring back Robert Downey Jr., just like bring him back in like a build-up movie, like a Thanos-esque, like up to like the Avengers, like a big world-ending scenario is going to happen, and then they need to do some fucking space-time continuum like blow-up is going to fucking happen. Like, we need a super genius. Who do we need? We need fucking Iron Man for this like specific thing, and then they like jump like through the multiverse or something, and then grab him. But like, it's that I feel like that's the only way you could do it. And then like in doing so, like there should be a hindrance, like, oh, we got him from a different timeline or a different universe. Like this universe is going to implode unless we bring him back, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like instead of just bringing him back as a new character, it's like, and Dr. Doom's such a big iconic character, like why don't you just get a different actor? I don't know what they're doing.
I have a lot of problems with it that I didn't realize I had when it first got revealed. Like, I watched the Fantastic Four movies growing up, but like I don't really know the character of Dr. Doom. I didn't really read the comics, and it's like my worry. There's two options. It's like, they just completely recast him with someone. It's Victor Von Doom, and it's him playing Victor Von Doom, which doesn't make sense. Like, there's enough actors in Hollywood where we don't have to reuse people and have suspension of disbelief. That's dumb. And if it's like, I guess in the comics, there's a storyline where there's like Iron Man Doctor Doom. I don't know. Like
I did
I know
see
what you're
some
talking about. I've
vague.
seen people like posting up those
Yeah.
cover pictures and stuff.
Yeah,
I saw
and
that
like
too.
if they do that, then it's like, well, you're introducing this character into the movies for the first time, and you're giving us some variant, and not even giving us the real villain. It's like, I want to see the villain. Like, I don't know the villain. I want to see the villain. I don't want some variant. And either way, it's like, why did they give the big reveal away at like a press release months before? Unless, yeah, as Jerry said, they're desperate to like get clicks and have people watch their movies.
Yeah,
I don't really understand any of the decisions.
The Marvel parade has been like falling off. Like they definitely have been down viewership. And I saw like some post that they paid Robert Downey Jr. like $60 million to come back, and he only agreed to do it if the Russo brothers came back to direct it.
Okay.
So like they are back to do it. So like I don't think he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna do a bad job. B, do I wish they had a different cast member? Yes, and like if so I don't know. I don't think it'll be bad, but it's gonna be like, all right, you're already Tony Stark, so like they're gonna have to do something creative to kind of like tie those two things together. It can't just be like he's a random actor again, and like we just pretend he wasn't Tony Stark before, because that's not gonna work. So they got to do something.
Yeah, and especially how noteworthy Robert Downey is, from being Iron Man, is gonna. I know for me especially, that's gonna be two very hard things to separate. Like you have Victor Von Doom on the right, but you have Tony Stark on the left. So it's like for me, where's the divide gonna be between the two?
Right.
Because both are extremely intelligent characters in the Marvel comics, but obviously Victor Von Doom is. He's a villain who's no holds bars. If you've seen even some of the recent Marvel comics from the last 10 years, Dr. Doom, it has to be one of the most ruthless people I've seen. So I'm hopeful that he'll do a good job because I know he can, but I'm just not really feeling the choice. Because it's like Tony said, there's a billion other actors out in Hollywood. Like, give somebody else a chance. You know what I mean? Because at this point now, well, what's going to happen next? Are we going to have Edward Newton come back and be the fucking Grey Hulk again? Like, what are we going to do?
I would be kind of down for that, though.
I mean, Hulk hasn't had his time to shine, and I feel like they should have done Hulk some justice by this point. Yeah, I know some people don't like Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner and Hulk, but I'm like, I think he's actually fine. Yeah, he does a good job. Hulk hasn't been a prominent, driving force in the movies.
No.
So it's like, I think Mark Ruffalo was pretty good. He was solid.
What's up with the new Red Hulk like Falcon fucking movie?
Oh yeah, the new Captain America movie.
Yeah.
I think it's really weird because there is an iteration of the Captain America comics where Falcon is the new Cap.
Right.
But I'm also really confused as to why they're now just introducing Red Hulk, who is, General Ross Thunderbolt, who has always been Bruce Banner and Hulk's number one enemy. So
okay.
That was the next thing I was going to get into. Thank you for that segue. But I'm just like, this is some really weird just placement. And why do we have, not that I have a problem with Harrison Ford in it, but why do we have Harrison Ford being the president, but now he's this almost militant dictator type from what that trailer is showing?
Oh, so is he the same character or is he a different character? Like, is he the president?
I think for this movie, he's the president or, some kind of high political leader.
But he's still not the same, like, character. He's, like, not the general, like, in the...
No, he's not he might be the general, but I think it's really hard to say. I'm not certain.
Because obviously he was a different actor in the previous movie. So, like, I didn't know if they just recasted Harrison Ford. It was like, yeah, this was him the whole time. Just like, what the heck is his name? The Iron Man guy.
I'd have to see it, from the trailer that they released. I'm not particularly happy with what I've seen, just because not always, but I heard, like several rumors from trusted sources online that I go to that General Thunderbolt and Red Hulk were going to come in a TV show, instead of a movie. So I was like, okay, that's another TV show that I'm not gonna watch. So whenever they introduce Red Hulk to the movie, I'm just gonna look up detailed of a synopsis online as I can. So I don't know what's changed with that, and also the fact that they've now changed. The controversy with Jonathan Majors. They've changed that to the Secret Wars. I think it was. I just looked at it the other day, and I was like,
a Secret Invasion show.
yeah, Secret Invasion. Thank you. And I was like, wow, this is gonna tank. I'm not looking forward to that
either. I haven't seen like any Marvel shows like really at all.
I think the only one I've watched is WandaVision.
That's
that
like,
was only because it was the better of all the crap they've been kind of spewing.
That's the one I watched, and I heard Loki's good.
Yeah,
like, I'm kind of curious about that one, but like, I haven't been watching the shows. Like, I don't want to watch the shows to be updated on what's going on in the fucking movies.
Yeah,
that's me. Because Marvel's strong suit. Excuse me, I'm eating dinner right now. But Marvel's strong suit has always been movies, not TV shows. And obviously Wanda and Loki have been the two of the better ones, especially since they were so early on. But like the Miss Marvel TV show, I watched I think 15 minutes of that. I hated that. The Hawkeye show, I wasn't bad. Let me not say it was bad, but it just wasn't appealing to me personally.
Right.
Moon Knight was really good. I did watch, I think maybe 2 or 3 episodes of Moon Knight before I was like, okay, this is nice, but I'd rather have this as a movie personally. Just because Moon Knight, I think, would do better in a larger scale production. And then I didn't watch She-Hulk.
No, I didn't either. That looked fucking terrible.
There was another show that they did I didn't bother watching. But I'm just like, Marvel, you're trying to do what DC is doing, because DC is better with their shows and animation, but Marvel's better with their movies. So now they're trying to, mirror and parallel each other, but it's like, stop it. Please. Seek help. Play to your strengths. Like, I'm not saying I need a movie for every single hero, but for the love of God, at least introduce a hero in enough time in the movie so it doesn't feel like, they were shoehorned in.
I just got to say, you remind me of that Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
That's what I was
Yeah.
Stop it. Get some help.
I struggle with these movies where they introduce important plot things in TV shows. In the Marvel universe, it kind of gets me a little annoyed.
Yeah.
It's like there's no way that you expect us to like
obviously I'm excited. I want to see the Deadpool Wolverine movie, which I haven't seen yet. But the only other character I could say I'm like excited to see like to continue on in the Marvel universe is just like Spider-Man, because like I feel like he has so many loose ends like that's set up. Like no one knows who he is, kind of thing. So I'm curious how they're gonna go on that route. Nothing's been announced though in a while with Spider-Man, so
that's true.
I don't know what's going on with that character.
He's just living in New York City. Like no one knows who no one knows who he is.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Just living. I don't know.
Like I was hoping he'd like
New York dream.
He would like tie up with like I don't know Daredevil kind of thing, like the underground. Like he'd be like no one knows who he is, so he has to work with like the street level characters, like Daredevil, Luke Cage kind of thing. I think that would have been cool.
I need them to be back. I don't
know why they haven't come back yet.
Yeah,
they brought the Daredevil over from the Netflix show before. Disney
right, that's what I thought they're gonna tie in, like Spider-Man.
And he's now been introduced into the MCU as Matt Murdock. So I'm like, okay, where's his movie? Because I damn sure don't want another show. His show was already really good as is.
Yeah.
His Punisher. People didn't like Luke Cage, but I thought Luke Cage was good.
I heard Luke Cage was good. I heard that was good. I haven't seen like any of those shows. I've seen bits of Daredevil, but like I heard Daredevil and Luke Cage were like the better ones.
I quit those shows on Iron Fist. Iron Fist made me quit those shows.
Yeah, I heard that was bad.
Because you have to watch them in order. It's like this season of this season of this season of this, and I got to Iron Fist, and I was like, I don't want to watch any of these anymore.
And what was the other one that was good? The Punisher. I heard that one.
Jessica Jones.
Punisher was the best of like the three.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, the guy who they got to play Frank Stone, he was not only just like the look, but how he portrayed him as far as his acting, not just as far as, vocally, but with his body. I'm like, damn, why didn't we have this as a movie?
He was in that one movie we watched, that tank movie, that match.
Yeah, Fury.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, he was in that.
Yeah, good old Fury. But that's all the big news I have.
Yeah.
I don't think I take that back. I don't know how true this is. I just saw it when I was on lunch today. But apparently the Mahershala Ali's Blade movie is going to be rated R. Now, how true that still holds up, I'm not going to hold my breath, just because that's been stuck in production hell for, God, how many years now? 5? 4 or 5? It's been like a consistent amount of time. And I'm just, at this point, I'm like, just pull the plug on it. If you haven't started shooting and you're still having conflicts of interest with directors over script, direction of what they want to do, like just let it go. Just eat the loss, Kathleen Kennedy, and let the movie go.
Well, Kathleen Kennedy's attached to Lucasfilm. She doesn't have anything to do with Marvel.
I want to blame her for something.
But I don't know. I'm still interested in Blade. If they do rated R, like, I'd be more interested. I'm pleasantly surprised that they let Wolverine and Deadpool be rated R. So I'm like, okay. I'm kind of like curious what they're gonna do in the future with like rated R themed movies.
I think Wolverine and Deadpool is making so much money right now. They have to be able to like realize that you can sneak one of these in every so often. Yeah,
like the Joker proved that. Obviously, Deadpool proved that, like the first one with Fox. So,
but if you guys are ready, we can go ahead and move into the short. I know we spent a lot of time in BSBS than we but there's a lot of big news
going on
the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and then we haven't really had a full out Marvel discussion like that in a bit.
So for the short, we watched Batman, the Brave and the Bold, Rise of the Blue Beetle. And I want Josh to take this one away.
Okay. So this is the first episode of Brave and the Bold, which I didn't know that. And I liked how it kind of started out with what's the Blue Beetle's like alias's name? What's his name?
Jaime Reyes.
Yes, him. So I like how it started out with like, with him, and he's just like watching Batman in the news, like team up with Green Arrow. And I thought Green Arrow was going to be more part of this episode, like in the beginning, and then he's just in that little cameo, and then they kind of push him to the side, which I had no problem with that. I just found that like
that's a lot of how the Brave and the Bold starts off. It's a cameo,
yeah,
and then you'll get into like the actual like team up.
I did like how the short in the beginning did tie into the actual episode, because I knew, like with other episodes that I've seen, like the little short would be like in the middle and it would have nothing to do with like the whole episode. So I kind of liked how it was like a little tie-in with that. Yeah, and then eventually it just shows that like the Blue Beetle is already the Blue Beetle. I thought it was going to be like an origin story, when he's telling his friend like, oh, what would you think if I was superhero too? And then like I think I went to get like a drink or something from my fridge, and I come back and he's already like a Blue Beetle like flying with Batman. I'm like, what the fuck? Wait, when did he become Blue Beetle? So I rewind it and I was like, oh, he's already Blue Beetle. So then he goes out into space with Batman. Batman's trying to test him out to see if he's worthy of being like officially like a part of the league, or like on a superhero basis. He was like, he even said in the beginning, I could have taken Green Lantern to this, but I wanted to test Blue Beetle and see if he's like ready for this kind of type of caliber of mission. So then he goes out into space, and then they end up on this like planet with these little bacteria, little people. I don't know what they are. They look like single-celled organisms, but like 3 feet tall. And they all basically he gathers them. He's already worshipped by this planet with all these bacteria people, and there's a big Blue Beetle statue already there, and it was from the previous Blue Beetle. He already like kind of saved them in a previous battle. So he gathers all these people. He basically says, I need you guys to help me combat the threat. And then this is the first time they fought back. So eventually, towards the end of the episode, they realize that they have the necessary needs, the power within to combat the threats that are coming up in the future. So I kind of liked how like the bacteria people weren't completely useless, you know. They were an energy fuel source, and then like how they like harnessed the energy from
It was
these
brutal.
it was fucked. I was like, holy shit! And then they just like are like in a pile on each other, and they're like, I thought there's gonna be like a clip at least at the end, like reviving those people.
Yes,
But
yes.
they didn't show them ever again. They were just like basically dead. And I was like, whoa. This show, honestly, I didn't think they would go that dark, but it was pretty brutal with that.
So there are 2 Blue Beetle episodes, and the one I was thinking of was this one, but I didn't realize it was the first one because the 3rd episode is titled "The Fall of Blue Beetle."
Oh, I see. Okay.
And I was like, no, that's not the episode I'm thinking of, because I was like, I know he goes to this planet with these little amoeba-looking dudes,
Yeah.
and he gets the Scarab removed from him through the psionic waves of this special kind of gong.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I just really so the reason I picked this one in particular, because the 3rd episode delves more into his background on, Ted Cord, the Blue Beetle, and how he got the Scarab and everything. And it played, Blue Beetle does come back. I think maybe 2 or 3 more other times out after this one. But this one, I was like, I need something that's a little more on the kind of the edgier side to fit how the movie is for some of its scenes and things. And seeing the amoeba dudes, like, they get zapped, and then they're just like this husk, almost a gloop. And then it's like, oh, they're there, they're alive, but it's like they've been drained, so they're just waiting to die. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to throw the guys a curveball for this one.
Yeah, I'm really glad you picked Brave and the Bold. I'm glad you picked this whole episode because it was nice to like the be on the DC theme. And yeah, honestly, I never seen this episode. I've seen like some episodes of the Brave and the Bold. I always enjoy it. I don't. Tony, have you seen this before, like Brave and the Bold at all?
I haven't. I really enjoyed this. I didn't. The only thing I knew about Brave and the Bold was like the art style, which when I first saw it as a kid, I wasn't a huge fan. But like watching the show, I really liked it. And like, is every episode like a team up? Is that
basically? I want to say
yeah.
Outside of a couple of them,
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't watched this since like it aired, and I think I only watched up to like halfway of season 2 before like I just quit watching TV and I got busy doing other stuff. I think I was still in school at the time when this had come out, so I was like, oh, I got to do homework projects, tests, all that other fun stuff.
Yeah, this came out when I was still in high school, so I kind of like I looked at it and I was like, oh, this looks like it's for babies. So I never watched it. And then like later on I watched, I'm like, oh, this is really funny and like really enjoyable. And I like how it's like kind of campy, but like they ride that line where it's like satirical and dark at the same time. Like those amoeba people, they like all fucking burn to a crisp basically.
There was one weird joke that I thought was hilarious and so random, and it was like within the first minute of the show. Like they're flipping through the channels, and there's a stand-up comedian on stage, and he goes, "And they're the aristocrats," and then it just goes to the next thing. It's like, what? They reference the aristocrat joke, and
yeah. Oh, Jerry, we lost Jerry. Well, I guess he'll be back. There he is.
Really bad thunderstorms.
Jerry, you're back.
I'm having really bad lightning storms. In case you all couldn't tell.
Yeah, I saw you had a lot of flashes in the back, so I kind of figured. Is your power good or?
Yeah, power's good. I think just internet's real spotty because it's been.
I gotcha.
I think for the last hour and a half, that lightning's been going crazy.
Yeah. Well, it was like every sentence there would be a flash. Basically.
Yeah, there was.
Like it was that constant.
But please go. I didn't mean to take away from what.
No, it's completely fine. I was just saying, like, when I grew, like, it took me a while to appreciate this show in general. And Tony, if you do have the chance, I do recommend like watching more episodes.
Oh yeah, I highly recommend season 1 because there are some really great team ups that you're like, oh wow, I wasn't expecting to team up with. I mean, this will be spoil it a little bit, but he does a team up with Plastic Man. He does one with Black Canary. I think he has one even with Booster Gold, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think I
don't even know who that is.
I grew up Booster Gold. Oh, he's hilarious.
He's hilarious. He's an asshole hero.
Yeah, he's like from the future, and he goes back in time, and he's basically trying to be like famous for being like a piece of shit hero. Like he just like has all these futuristic gadgets, and he's like trying to make a profit being a hero.
Yeah, and he's got all this knowledge of events that have already happened. So he's like, all right, if I go to bank so-and-so at X, Y, and Z time, I can be on the news and make hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And he's like very incompetent, like at the same time. So
he's really douchey.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, he's really fun.
I guess apparently like the guy who I'm just looking him up now, the guy who played Jaime, I think, accidentally revealed maybe that Booster Gold is going to be in a movie played by the guy from Silicon Valley.
Oh, really?
Wait, from the
Kumail Nanjiani, I think his name is.
The Blue Beetle who was in the movie, or Blue
Beetle?
Yeah,
the Blue Beetle in the movie. I literally just looked up Booster Gold, and it was like Blue Beetle star confirms Marvel's Eternals star Kumail Nanjiani officially playing Booster Gold. That's kind of funny.
Oh, is he still Blue Beetle? Is he still Blue Beetle? Like
no, it's not him. It's like the guy who played.
It was somebody from the Eternals movie.
Yeah, that guy
playing
Booster Gold.
So who's Blue Beetle now though? Is he?
Oh, it's the guy. It's still the same guy in the movie.
He's still Blue Beetle.
Yeah. Well, maybe. I don't know what James
I know that's all fucking confusing. I guess we'll get to that when we get to the movie.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. But another reason I also picked this episode was the art style of it. It reminded me a lot of, what we had with Superman, the animated series, much later. Although, Superman was much shorter than Batman, the animated series. Just that animation style, I was like, oh, yeah, you can clearly tell they wanted to be as much of a comic show without doing, like all the lines and the panels and everything. Because you can see, like, when Batman went back to the ship to save Jaime, Blue Beetle, and he slammed the lid on that guy, you could tell they were like, slam. They wanted to put that right there.
Yeah.
And then when he used him like a bowling ball, obviously they wanted to put, like strike or, some other kind of sound effect. And I really enjoyed how quirky this episode was because I forgot, like, oh, Jaime is like, yes, he's the Blue Beetle, but before he's the Blue Beetle, he's still a young adult who's, still idolizing these heroes that he could potentially work with. And I was like, man, rewatching this, I forgot just how good it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything over the top. It was, very simple plot. And it was like Batman said at the end, instead of him testing Blue Beetle to see if he was worthy of being a hero, he watched him in that one mission become the hero that, he needed to be.
Right.
And I thought that was a very, especially with, how the movie went when we get into it, I thought that was a very fitting last thing for Batman to say, especially because, if you get this weird alien artifact thing and it basically turns you into a walking weapons assembly line as a thought process, you're obviously going to have a lot of self-doubt about, okay, well, what do I do with this? I could rule the world with an iron fist, or, I could go around helping everybody and being, a beacon of hope for people who's, in places of the world where heroes can't normally get to and such.
Yeah, I do enjoy that, and I like how he does have the arc like throughout the show, like this episode. Like he does start out kind of like he thinks he's like the ultimate hero. Before that, like Batman's like, "Oh, take my lead," and he completely ignores Batman, and he's like, "No, I got this. I already I already figured all this out." And then that's when he gets captured. Humbled. Yeah, exactly. He completely gets humbled after that, and then he has to kind of think by his wits instead of the suit because he had no access to the suit. That Gong basically made him like inept to utilize that alien technology. So like he had to use his wits. He's like, "Oh, what would Batman do?" He's all kind of tied up, and then he spits on the mechanism
and it's short circuit.
Yeah, it's short circuited, so he's released. I thought that was fun, and like I like how the show like it embraces the past of Batman too, like with the 60s. It doesn't like completely like it embraces like the Adam West era and like the 50s Batman, and like it does still ride like the serious tone of Batman, but like he's just more this Batman's more willing to team up with like any hero and everyone, like he's way more like he's not as much as a loner, and I do appreciate that.
He's like a mentor.
What's that?
He's like he acts as a mentor in this.
Yeah.
And I think that was something that was really not interesting, but I think that was a really great way to open up a first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because usually, we see Batman already established. He's working with another established hero,
and you would think it would be more Batman oriented, like he's facing off the Joker for the first episode, instead of like more Blue Beetle. Like this is more like a Blue Beetle episode than a Batman episode. So it is an interesting first episode. And I gotta say, Tony, if you do watch more of this has my favorite Aquaman. Like he's the best Aquaman.
Oh yeah, I love that
Aquaman. I'll have to look him up.
What's the actor who plays Bender? I think it's that.
John DiMaggio.
Yeah. I think Aquaman.
Love that. I'll watch that.
And it embraces all aspects of Batman, like I was saying. Like Batmite's in it, like
he is in it.
Yeah.
Don't they do something mentioning like Mr. Mxyzptlk in one episode, if I remember
right? I don't know if they do.
I don't know. So they have 3 seasons, so it's a lot of just episodes to try to remember. Off the top.
And there's a few I haven't seen. Like I've seen like a select few here and there. Like it's definitely a show like I want to actually watch throughout. So I'm glad you recommended this. I feel like I could just talk about the show for a while, but like it's a very enjoyable show. It has kind of like everything. Like I wish I gave it a chance back in the day, like when I was in high school. But like I'm glad I have watched it and I've seen like episodes. It's definitely very enjoyable.
Yeah, I've had this sitting on my watch list for a while, and I was like, oh, they have a couple episodes of Blue Beetle, and obviously I mentioned before that I watched the Blue Beetle movie on Max, and it finally got on streaming, and I was like, you know what? This is going to tie into the movie, so I'm not going to say too much, but I was like, you know what? Let's take a little trip down, memory lane and open up a fresh pair of eyes because not a lot of people know about this show coincidentally, because, it's still a part of the Saturday morning cartoon run.
Right.
And it was like right in that last cusp of 2 years that action cartoons had before they just kind of died off. Because this, I think, came out 2008. And then the Green Lantern animated series was like 2010, maybe 2009, I want to say. So it was like these were the last little bits where we could see some, really solid animation, some, of course, great voice acting. because this is one of my favorite Batman voices.
Yeah,
Because when I hear
He's
it,
up there.
I'm like, oh, takes me back to Adam West Batman.
it does.
He's gonna be, he's gonna talk with a stern, forthright voice, and he's going to be more about the justice than about tell me where your boss is and break people's bones in 5 places.
Right. And I think I said this before, but like I could see this, but like say you take the Kevin Conroy Batman, the animated series Batman, and this Brave and the Bold Batman, and then like you just switch them and like switch them in the universes, like they would still be competent in that universe. Like they wouldn't be like bumbling fools. Like they'd still be able to figure it out, but they're totally different Batmans. So like
And I like that it's a big contrast from the Batman you got with Kevin Conroy.
I agree. It's nice that it's completely different. So I'm going to rate this an 8 out of 10. I highly enjoy it. Maybe on more viewings, like I'll give it a higher rating, but I just, probably overall I'll give it 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd probably give it the same. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. It was a good intro to the show.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
I remember I was texting Tony. I was like, I'm more excited for the short than the movie.
It's funny, but I just texted Josh like a few hours ago. I was like, I actually like this show.
Yeah, it's a great show. I watched it as it was releasing, episodically week by week. So for me, this holds, a pretty high spot at a number 9. And definitely revisiting it, I'm like, you know what? I could almost call this a perfect 10. It was very straightforward. It got to the point. There was actually little to no fluff in between.
Yeah, there really wasn't.
And there was, even a lesson to be learned about what it means to really be not even just like a superhero, but like, an average, like day-to-day Joe, like, because, sometimes people, go out and be like, well, you know what in this situation, what would my dad do when the car breaks down? He'd probably, get out the jack, get out the tire iron and, change this wheel. What can I do? You know what? I don't have a jack, but I know a couple of people I can call. And so, I'll call a guy and be like, hey, I just need you to bring me a jack and I can change my tire. And, Jaime was thinking, what he could do with what he knew instead of what would Batman do, not knowing everything Batman does.
Yeah. I liked when Batman was hyping up the little guys and was like, yeah, he's your hero. He's your hero.
You feel like a Kevin Conroy Batman. I wouldn't see him doing that.
And you could see the discontent, like with his little statue compared to Blue Beetle's like fucking 15-foot one. Like, well, they say it's the thought that counts because his pride was hurt a little bit.
Yeah, this show's very fun. I kind of hope like this is the direction that the new DC universe goes. I hope it's like the whole overarching like feel of it is like more kind of like in this kind of genre, instead of just like ultra serious.
No more Zack Snyder.
No Zack Snyder.
After fucking,
and it's funny you said that, Tony, because I forgot this in BSBS. There's a Snyder cut of Rebel Moon.
Oh yeah.
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 I just happened to see that, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna click on that. But thanks anyway.
Is that out now? That's out.
I don't know if it's out. I was just on YouTube, and it was like a little promo trailer, so it might be. Like I said, I don't know. I don't have access to my Netflix again. I got to get my own.
I don't need to see more of that.
He couldn't rip off Star Wars in 2 movies. He needs to make 2 extended movies to tell the full rip off.
Terrible.
Know how the bug people got started.
Yeah.
I don't even remember that movie. I don't remember anything about it.
So now we're gonna get into the Blue Beetle film. And Tony, I actually want you to take the film.
Okay, I got it. I think I got it. So Blue Beetle is about a young man, Jaime. He just graduates college and he's kind of thrusted into the workforce. I think he wants to go to law school, but he can't because his family's going to lose their house. So he starts working. He's working he's like a janitor or a male, like a
Like
maid.
butler.
Butler. I don't know if it was a mansion. I think it was like a mansion or like a resort for the like the owner of the big corporation. I forget the name.
Cord.
Cord. Okay. And then runs into some backroom dealings and gets himself involved and gets himself fired immediately, and then gets himself more involved and ends up with the Scarab after he kind of befriends the daughter of the owner of Cord, right?
Yeah.
She's her niece.
Niece. Okay. And then
Oh yeah, it is the niece. Yep. Okay.
and then becomes the Blue Beetle as the Blue Beetle attaches to him and has to deal with that while Cord is wreaking havoc on his family, destroys the family home, kidnaps him, and a lot of a lot of destruction to a family by a big corporation ensues. I think I might have skipped some of it, but
no, that's basically the majority of it.
There was a big bad guy too that and a story about
Red Beetle.
Oh, great value.
Yeah.
Part of the story was that the Scarab is this I'm sorry, I didn't even describe the Scarab. It's outer space, it's like alien, it's like an alien, right?
Alien. So they've changed it up a few times in the comics continuity because so what it's supposed to be is like this like world-ending weapon, and once it chooses a host, it basically hijacks them through the hive mind, and they just enslave the world for I can't remember what the race who made the Scarabs is called, but they basically come and terraform the planet.
Mm-hmm.
But the Blue Beetle got damaged, while going out in space and stuff. And so instead of taking over Jaime's mind and everything, they work in tandem together. But it takes, it was that long process of, we gotta, work in unison, almost like a symbiotic Venom kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say it's like a mix of Venom and Goku because it's supposed to be evil, but it hit its head. It hit its head. Now it's good, like Goku.
I gotta say, I really do like this movie, but I felt like 2 hours was way too long. You could have cut out like 15 minutes of this, and it would have been way better.
Yeah.
And
wait, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, and I love how in the first 10 minutes we meet the most bitch of a villain you could ever meat. The Victoria Cord. From the second she's on screen, like, oh, she is the person everybody hates. Like she's like, I'm not gonna say she's racist, but she's got her prejudices because she's got the one guy who she always calls Sanchez, and that's not his name.
Yeah.
Obviously, because he's of Hispanic heritage and stuff. And then even when it comes to her own family and stuff, you could tell like she might have had something to do with like her brother's disappearance almost. And even with the merc who she had working for her, she didn't give a fuck about him. She's like, oh, so long as I've got this data, I can make 1,000 more of him. You're just another drop of sand in the ocean to me. And she was just so like, me, mine, this is owed to me. Fuck you, get out of my way. I'll kill you, bitch. And just, I liked how ruthless she was. She was one of the best parts of the movie for me because she stayed on her exact same mentality of, I'm going to make a weapon and I'm going to get rich. I don't care who has to die and I don't care who gets hurt. We got to kill this kid. Go ahead. Fucking kill him. Give him the electric chair. This fucking merc who's been, had limbs blown off. So what if he dies? There's 1,000 more people like him out there in the world I can easily manipulate.
I think it's funny. I agree, and I really like the tone of this movie. On that note, I thought the one part I thought was funny, where it just shows how evil she is when they're like attacking the house, their family home, and she says something like, "Yeah, target the family."
Yeah, she's like, what did she say? She said, "Yeah, go ahead and kill the family."
Yeah, I
I
thought
was
that
like,
was nuts.
damn, and she was nonchalant. I'm like,
just
this is, you
cold-hearted.
could tell this wasn't the first time she's had somebody killed like publicly like that.
I like the tone of this movie where like the villains are like evil and terrible, but like it's kind of funny and like a little lighthearted with the main characters. I feel like it's a good balance. Like
Yeah,
it takes
yeah.
itself seriously, but not enough to be like evil and make you feel bad.
I'm glad you did recommend this movie, Jerry, because I kind of overlooked it because right when this movie came out, DC, the whole DC brand was like, yeah, we're rebranding. We're basically starting over.
52 Rebirth again.
Yeah. And like they didn't give this movie its chance. Like
Yeah.
they basically just like pulled the tablecloth from like, before it was like set up kind of thing. Like there was like they basically gave it no room for it to kind of breathe on its own. Like if they're gonna announce like that DC was gonna reboot, they should have done it at least after this movie, because that was the reason why I didn't see it. I was like, oh well, they're restarting, so like this has like I guess it was still connected to the Snyderverse. Technically, I don't even know.
It's in that weird cusp because it's a part of the Snyderverse, but it's also not because it's in that weird transition of James Gunn.
They should just keep this canon.
That's what I thought too. Like it still would work in like a new universe. And I did I agree with you. I enjoyed the tone. Like it was fun. Like it was better than I thought it was actually gonna be. Like I enjoyed it a lot, and I thought the actor was really good. I liked the whole family dynamic.
Yeah, the family dynamic was one of my favorites.
Yeah,
because it was a very unique way of doing the family dynamic.
Right. And
like yes, the father did unfortunately go into cardiac arrest and die, but even though physically he wasn't there, like his spirit was still there for his son when he needed him most. And that really just spoke to me because it's like, obviously dealing with the death of a parent is extremely hard when, you're like coming right out of college and you're like, all right, I've gotten part of my young adult life ready. I still, I need you here to still guide me on. And he told him like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm always going to be here with you, like here in your heart, and always trust that. And that'll lead you to, riches beyond your imagination.
Yeah. I did like the social commentary too. It wasn't like, with all the political issues that are going on. Like it wasn't so on the nose, but like you could see it underneath. I liked how it wasn't like in your face. Like
your face.
Yeah. I honestly that's what I expected from this movie. That was like another reason why I was like, oh, this is just gonna be like it's totally on the nose with like the social commentary, and it really wasn't. But like it obviously was still there, and it fit the story, and I did appreciate that.
Yeah,
I know. The main reason I picked this movie was because at release, everybody was talking about, oh, this movie is just terrible. People walked out of it at the red carpet premiere, and I'm like,
did they? Really?
I don't know why you people did that. Like this, I'm not saying this is the greatest movie for a superhero, but this was a really great piece. Oops, that was before. This was a really great just movie about how a down on your luck family can help you lift you up when you're at your wit's end, when you get involved in stuff just accidentally, because that's what parents always tell your kids. Oh, trouble's easy to get into but hard to get out of. Because even once he got the Scarab, Kajita, he still didn't have full control or access to it because the Scarab was like, all right, we're going to kill all these people. And the whole time Jaime was saying like, no, we're not going to kill them. We're just going to stun them. We're going to just incapacitate. I'm not a killer. We will not kill anybody. And then, he kept sticking to his guns about that until, he was fighting the great value Black Beetle. And then he was like, he killed my dad. He killed my uncle. He's got to fucking die. I need my revenge. And then, Kajita told him, Jaime, no, I refuse. And that was the first time we see, the roles reversed between the AI and the human, where the AI had learned like, oh, there's more to, a combat scenario than just trying to kill everybody and just, blow them the fuck up. There's more than one way to de-escalate a situation. And I really like that a lot because with superheroes, it's especially with what we see in Marvel and DC alike, there's, no difference between them. They always go for the kill shot. There's very few times, even in the movie, where they're like, oh, we can, de-escalate this situation. We can, essentially talk them off the ledge. And the whole time, that's what Jaime was doing. He was, telling Ignacio, like, there's nothing wrong with the love I have for my family. The love I have for my family is what keeps me grounded. And me keeping a grounded and level head is going to, not make me what you are, a guerrilla mercenary who has, I mean, obviously as a mercenary, you go out and you're a gun for hire. So you're going to kill who they tell you to kill for the money.
Yeah, I thought the costume was pretty interesting too, like the actual costume.
It was like liquid skin.
Yeah, it was liquid skin, and like they definitely used like a practical suit too, which I did enjoy that. Like you could tell like it wasn't always CGI because like with even the Spider-Man outfit in the MCU, I feel like it's always CGI, and like this they actually used a practical suit, so I did enjoy that as well, and I thought the design really worked. And like the stuff where he's trying to figure out the suit and his powers did kind of remind me of like Homecoming and like that Spider-Man stuff, but like it was fine. It worked for this movie, and it was like different enough. Like he's obviously going through like enough different stuff for it to be his own character. I just looked up if this actor's still Blue Beetle. Apparently he is, at least as of now.
It's weird until James Gunn decides, yeah, I'll keep you, or no, I won't.
Yeah, I looked at.
He might get the Henry Cavill treatment. I don't know.
That's what I'm curious about. Like, I'm looking at it now. It looks like he announced something that he's going to be in an animated series for the Blue Beetle, which apparently a lot of the animated series going on in the future is going to be connected with the universe. It's going to be intertwined. I hope it's not too fucking confusing. Yeah, I know.
Too much.
Yeah, it is a lot. It sounds like the Marvel fucking issue that we have. But I don't know.
DC likes to copy Marvel and do it way too fast. Like have the team up movie within like right when they start the universe.
Yeah, I agree.
Now they're doing it again. I don't know.
And even in this Superman movie that's coming out, they have a lot of heroes that are like from the Justice League and stuff like already in it. I'm like, oh, I hope it's not too saturated with that stuff. I just want a Superman movie without all that. But whatever.
Because I was talking with some coworkers, and everybody's got their own opinion about it, but the people who watch more of the Marvel and DC content, they agree. A lot of DC's strengths comes from their animated works. And, yes, I know other adults are like, I don't want to watch a cartoon that's dark and edgy. I'd rather see two people on a live action do it. But I'm like, there's only so far that you can go in a live action that you can't touch upon, in an animation movie. And not only that, DC's animation films, like all of them, are just top notch.
Yeah.
From the oh god, I can't think of the name of the Constantine movie that they have on Max, but if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Like everything is absolutely superb. And even looking at Young Justice, which was another Saturday morning action cartoon that they had, but it was very dark and extremely gritty. You had people being, losing limbs. You had people dying. You had people getting their mind absolutely erased. You had the Justice League being set up and framed for murder because somebody bribed this high council of aliens that nobody knows who the fuck they are. And, that is something you just, it's hard to capture, trying to do all of that in a